Well, what's the crack, everybody? How are you getting on? You're all very welcome to episode 175 of Buckshot for Friday, the 19th of February, 2021. I don't know why I add in the year. Like there'll be some historians or necromancers walking over the scorched apocalyptic earth. They find it and they're like, what year? What year is he from? You're like, yeah, no, that won't happen. That won't happen. It'll go up in smoke like everything else. What's the crack, everybody? What is going on? I'm in the new studio. We've built a new studio. I've built a new studio. I would have had help if help was, available, but it's not the case. It is nearly there. We have it walled off nicely. We have shelving has gone in. It's not fully finished yet. I have my green screen up. I know people on audio are going, what fucking difference does a green screen make to me? Well, if you're a Patreon, it'll make a big difference to you, because I'm going to, from middle of next week, hopefully I'll have the camera dialed in, because I'm not going to use the webcam I was using. I have a better camera for that situation, and I will be doing ramble pods with video, adding in bits of content and stuff like that, slipping it in just for the crack, to create a bit more content for people who are bored shitless of watching murders on Netflix and all the rest of it, and fucked up things about hotels in LA. It's just a bit more content, you know what I mean? So we're nearly there. I don't have I have a new mic set up. I'm slowly but surely working my way through it to get it set up right. I have the regular old mic here in front of me. At least the echo is down. The sound is middle of the road. I know, it's middle of the road right now, but look, 'tis what it is. We're nearly there. All thanks to Patreon people paying for this. It's Patreon's contribution has built the podcast, literally. So there you go. And now you've heard exactly what you get if you want to support the podcast. You sling it a couple of dollars, and lo and behold, you get yourself video content of all the interviews, and you get ad-free content, and you get early editions. And in 2 weeks' time, not this weekend, I have a couple of gigs, and next weekend I'm going to see Grandad Tom. Hopefully we'll get there. We're going to see, he is 100 years old next weekend, and come hell or high water, it's happening, because I was doing Caveman last year for his 99th and I couldn't go to it, and he made me promise that I'd be there for his 100th. Well, I'm fucking gonna be. Simple as that. So the following week we will be doing a live Patreon podcast where we'll all have a couple of drinky winkies, hang out and shoot the shit and laugh our balls off, and proverbial lady balls off. It's proverbial anyway. I mean, nobody's balls actually drop off through any of these live I don't think they have. That would be a first for anything. And there is, of course, merch. If you want to put my face on anything, that's how you support the podcast too. Realistically, Patreon is, I put merch up because the merch has to go up, you know what I mean? And there is design, so it's there. Delighted that people get it. It's there for you if you want it. But realistically, the Patreon page is where it's at. And you get a benefit back from it. Not that you don't with having my face put on something, but you know yourself. And I do want to tell you, and I haven't been saying it enough, I'm running another competition for best comment. I got a couple of nice comments on the Apple Podcasts. I know if you listen on Spotify or Acast, I don't think you can leave a comment. Hey, I'll accept one just posting on Instagram. So if you just want to put a post up on Instagram on your story, tag me in it, and write your own comment. So there you go. That just came to me. These are the ideas that are just popping out of my head, lads. These are the fucking ideas that are just rattling around inside there, and they just pop out periodically. So if you don't listen to Apple Podcasts, or you don't have Apple Podcasts, which is the only place you can leave a review as far as I know, go ahead, write me one on Twitter or Instagram. Those are the only two places I kind of frequent. The rest are, But if you are on Apple Podcasts, give it a 5-star review and leave a nice little note, because to celebrate the new studio, I will be giving out a prize, but it will be best comment. Over the Christmas, best comment was from Sharon in Canada. So there you go. No shipping is too far away. She's in Canada and she got it. So she wrote a delightful comment, but I don't see them. I don't see the notifications that the comments are left in. So please take a screen grab of it and tweet me or Instagram me, so at least I can see what you've written. Do you know what I mean? You were all brilliant for the reviews. A load of people left class reviews for Paul's book. In all fairness, it was well worth it. Well fucking worth it. It was class. Now, that is all of the stuff out of the way. So that's what's coming up. There'll be videoed Ramble Pods, which is a mid-weekly thing. If you're new to this and you're going, what the fuck is this fella on about? Have a gander back, lads. There's almost 300 episodes there. Have a gander back. There's a Ramble Pod midweek, which means shooting the shit about the world. And then obviously there's a bookshot with a guest at the end of the week. So you will get videos for all of those, but only for the Patreons. Patreon exclusive, people. What more can I do? So, it's a little thank you. Put it behind a tiny paywall. A little tiny paywall. No bigger than, honest to God, a fish could jump over it. That kind of a paywall. It's just to say thanks. Anyway, moving swiftly along into today's guest. He is one of my very good friends. He is an amazing writer, an amazing comedian, and an all-round gas bastard. If you don't follow Gerry McBride, you are doing yourself an injustice. Follow the man on Twitter. He is one of the most frequent funny tweeters there is. He's been on before, obviously. He was on for a chit-chat. He did the Hit the Diff episode, which got huge acclaim. It got all the way to fucking Marty Moan, who wanted to come on the podcast next after that. He's one of the funniest, best content creators you'll ever come across. And we have a big announcement. That's right. I have alluded to it a few times in other episodes, but it is happening. It is happening. Put it in the diary. Search for it on Podlink is probably the best place. Or just search for it on whatever platform you normally listen. The Tom and Jerry Show. It's not the one with our faces, because I think that was an old one. I don't know how that has ended up there. It is the one with just the text, Tom and Jerry Show. You'll see it. There's like 18 or 19 episodes all put up. I built a new page in November. You'll see they were all put up in November. If you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it, because we're about to drop. I said it. Monday morning. Monday the 22nd, we are dropping Season 4 is landing on your lap. Episode 1, Season 4, 9 a.m. But guess what? The Patreons get it a little earlier. Huh? What do you think about that now? The Patreons get it a little earlier, and you will get the ad-free version. So, if there was ever a better way to go on a way over to the Patreons, you get me and McBride. But this was a podcast about good crack. We learned some things from Gerry during this one, whether it's DIY, wildlife, and weird shit that happens to you from running too much. It was a fucking dynamite podcast. Like I said, I could hang out with this man for hours. And a very enjoyable man to have for at least 1 hour. On episode 175, sit back and enjoy my very good friend, Mr. Gerry McBride. GMac/Gerry McBride is back once again for the Renegade Master. He is back. He's been mentioned more times in this podcast than probably the podcast itself. He third time round the town, but we're back now in normal circumstances. This is episode 174, I think. I stand to be corrected on that. I have not done my checks. How are you keeping?
How are you keeping, Tom? It's great to be back, Paul.
I know.
Good to see you again. It's good to see you. How are you doing?
Physically, to see people is nice, isn't it?
Yeah. It is. It really is.
You were almost going to take your top off there a minute ago, which I kind of want to see in just a morbid kind of way. I just want to see you with no shirt on. I know that's for our OnlyFans at some stage, so don't.
I was going to throw off my jumper because I was a wee bit warm, and then I noticed I had nothing on underneath it. And Tom, if this wasn't a video call, I would have just thrown the jumper off.
Oh, I know that. I absolutely know that.
Sat here in my bare pelt, so I would.
What's the crack with because you look in impeccable condition these days. What's the fucking crack? What's the crack? Normally people go to other way and go to shitting and asunder heading into the 40s, but you went to other way and you said, no, I'm going to fucking catch this by the throat now.
Well, that's anxiety for you, Tom. It's a little sprinkle of that goes a long way. That's a little bit of that goes a long way. I mean, there's two ways to head into 40, Tom. You head into it with the intention of seeing 50, or you head into it with a devil-may-care attitude. And I went at it with the latter there, Tom. I went into it going, fuck it, spice bags all day, every day. We're all animals. Why act different? And then a couple of clutches of the heart later, I was like, maybe not. No, maybe we'll not do that. We'll not do that.
But you're like, you took to walking over the gym. Was that always going to be the case? Like,
yeah. Do you know what it is, Tom? I don't think I'll ever set foot in a gym again. Yeah. I got a gym membership for a little while, and I never went to it because I was like, by the time you'd go to it, is all your spare time. I don't know about you, Tom. I'm fairly certain you and I have about, roughly speaking, the same amount of spare time in a day.
Yeah. You probably less, I'd say, even these days. I'd say with you have 2 chiselers.
2 chiselers, so when you look at it like that, Tom, if it takes you 20 minutes to drive to a gym and you have 22 minutes in a day to stay fit, that's going to be a poor gym session, so it does.
Tis, yeah. You wouldn't have the laces fucking done on the trainers at that stage. Yeah.
And then to be on you, and I could never go and relax and say, look, I'm going to go down and I'm going to do an exercise bike or something like that, because it'd always be hanging over me like, go do your exercise bike, but like, don't go any endurance distances, pal. You need to be back doing something. You need to write it down. You need to be there. You need to see a thing. You need to, whatever it is. But I'll tell you what you can do anytime you want is walk, Tom.
Walk.
You just put one foot in front of the other and away you go.
Yeah, I find walking less depressing than running. I fucking hate running. I remember you telling me, like, I'm not built for running, though. I've kind of a goat build.
Well, neither am I, Tom. I did take on with running last year. I ran a marathon last year with the intention that I might run another one this year, but we'll see. The humour might take me and I wouldn't. And I will say, for someone who never liked running, Tom, and then I spent last year building up for a marathon and eventually did the marathon. As someone who never liked running and never could run, I can say now, I still don't fucking like running.
I thought there was going to be a breaking point where we were like, oh my God, I love this shit.
And I still cannot run. But I'll tell you what I do have in abundance, Tom, and that's pure dog ignorance.
Yeah, because that's all.
If all you need to run a marathon, if you're like me, is pure dog ignorance, if just like you literally, your brain tells you, you're not going to run 42 kilometers.
Jesus Christ.
And the other bit of your brain goes, you fucking watch me run it.
I got tick with me hearing that from you, just going, I'll fucking do it.
You're not going to do it. I got tick with myself and I went out and I ran it, and it was the absolute ugliest marathon you've ever seen in your life, Tom. Like, I wasn't striding like a gazelle. I'm proud of myself that I didn't stop for 42 kilometers. I just kept running, but that wasn't through fitness, Tom. That was through absolute pure dog ignorance.
What were the detrimental effects? Because everybody talks about, the loveliness. Like, you just scour yourself at any point.
I didn't scare myself, Tom, but I did take the top of a nipple. Aye. I did. You want to talk about some rookie mistakes? Now, I've been training for the marathon for like the most of the summer, and I was doing good distances like 20s and 30 kilometers and 35 kilometers. And like I say, the marathon's 42, so you say to yourself, look, if you can do 35, and you're dying at the end of 35, but like, you can die a wee bit more, Yeah. Never really had any toenails, come and go.
Oh, fuck!
But I never really had any detriment to it, and I was wearing the same pair of beat up dog eating runners towards the end of it, because towards the end of it, coming towards the marathon, I was like, I probably need new runners. But if I buy new ones, then that could be the breaking in of them, and that'd ruin all my progress. So fuck it.
Shit, right? Yeah.
I have these shit runners, but they'll do me for now. And but a new T-shirt. I will get a new T-shirt, and I put a new T-shirt on me that I'd never had on me before. And round about 10 kilometers into the marathon, I look down, and there's a trail of blood from nipple number 1 all the way down to my waist, and I was like, well, isn't that a bitch?
What? So
I'd often heard of that story that if you were running a marathon, a T-shirt would chafe your nipple so much that it would just fucking lop the thing off. And that's what it is. Took the top of it like you'd take the top of an egg.
Stop.
Yeah.
What was that T-shirt made of that the other ones weren't made of? Like a 35k, you would have cut it off.
Emery board, Tom. I don't know. But again, like, other people, because I wasn't doing it on a marathon day. It wasn't like the Dublin Marathon or anything like this, Tom. I just went out on the roads on any given Saturday and just fucking pegged it. This is me on my own. So I could have just turned around and said, "Well, fuck this, I'm going home." But again, that PDI, Tom, that pure dog ignorance said, "Keep going." So I ran another 30 kilometers with the nipple, and you're running it holding your T-shirt out from yourself. It was a penance now, so it was, and I got home and I'm on absolute rags, but I got it done, and I might do another one. I know boys that run marathons on the regular, like they run them for the fun of it, Tom, which is not something I'd run it for.
Why did you run a fucking marathon, Gerry, by yourself?
I tried fuck all else to do, Tom.
I could fucking think of 7,000 things other than
There's
to do.
Little else to be at. Like I said, Tom, anxiety. You know what I mean? Last year with the pandemic on and you were locked in and one thing and another. So what else could you do? Like, you know, all things being equal, Tom, I would absolutely have rather been in IKEA. But here we are, you know.
And what are the preventions that a fellow should do if anybody's thinking of taking up running? Give me 3 things that definitely you should do if you're thinking about taking up running. Obviously, mind your titties.
Mind your titties. I know boys that run, like I say, I know boys that run marathons for fun. And what they do is they'll like literally have wee band-aids in their pocket.
Right.
Yeah. So if you find it going halfway through, you can take a little band-aid and put it over your ditty. And
this is not nature telling you to go home, like.
This is nature telling you to go home, but like, look, this is the strangeness that creeps into you. So that's one thing. Okay, mind them ditties.
Yeah, mind your ditties. That'll be the title of today's podcast. Mind your ditties.
There you go. I suppose. Stretching is no harm as well. Although, Tom, if anybody heard me here talking about running a marathon, when I say stretching, I stretch like you'd stretch in the morning.
Yeah. Okay.
You just like sort of like and yeah,
on the side of the bed,
I suppose, on the side of the bed, and I kind of, for some reason, when I was going out to run the marathon, Tom, like the most of me stretching was isolated in the shoulder region.
You're stretching your fucking shoulders.
I don't know, but I was doing all these big yawns and stretches and shoulder rolls and shit, and I'm like, why are you fucking doing that? You know, because the sorest part of me, Tom, bar me nipple that day, but the sorest part of me is my shoulder. I hurt my shoulder a while back, and I never got it right again. And my legs always seem grand, you know, until I look at them under an X-ray, and then all of a sudden I realise that it's just bone on bone, and I'm fucked for life. But hey, here we are. So do proper stretches. Look it up on YouTube and find proper stretches. And the other thing, Tom, is leave wee presents for yourself around the trail. That was the thing. And people do this. This is it. Marathon runners and long distance runners do this. They'll go out, they'll plan their route and say, okay, I'm going to go here, there, and the other way. Well, that's advice number 4. Plan your route. Don't just go around running the roads like a bollocks and saying like, how far am I along here? Like, know where you're going.
Yeah.
And go out and at around about like 10 kilometres and 20 kilometres and 30 kilometres and whatever you're running, leave like a bottle of water or a bottle of Lucozade Sport and a wee snack. So like leave a banana or jellies are good, like Haribo jellies and things like this. And I went out the night before.
I can get on board with that. Yeah.
I went out the night before and I left all these wee presents for myself. I left like
a can of cider at fucking.
Yeah. I left a banana sellotape to a thing of Lucozade Sport and a Turkish Delight and like a phrase Turkish Delight.
Imagine the guards picking it up, going, "This is a sign."
So I'm here pegging it around. I left one at 10 kilometres, 20 kilometres, 30 and 35. So I figured now towards the end of it I'm going to be bollocks, so I could do a 30 and 35.
Yeah.
And Tom, wouldn't you know it, when I got to the drop in 35, and I mean I left these things in the ditches. I wasn't leaving them just sitting on walls. I'm talking about like you'd hide them in ditches. Some fucker had taken me bottle of Lucozade. A kilometre 30 and me dying here. I'm like, for fuck's sake. And only for I knew that there was another one coming up in 5 kilometres time. I was like, all right, you'll not die until you get to 35 and you get it. If you had to drink 4 bottles of Lucozade Sport in a 4-hour period, you'd probably shit yourself anyway.
Yeah.
But who sees a full bottle of Lucozade Sport, a banana and a fresh Turkish Delight mask and tape together in a ditch and says, oh, I'll have that?
It's probably another runner.
Who fucking rared you?
Fucking lovely. What an absolute bastard. See, I'm not seeing a whole pile. Like, how long do you think you're going to live, Gerry? I know that's a strong question, like, but
hard to say, Tom. I mean, the roof of the house could fall in on me, you know, that sort of way.
Yeah.
Do you know what it's? You know what I'll tell you, Tom. I wasn't going to be happy till I did it.
Okay, right.
Yeah. All right, like it wasn't. I don't have a bucket list or anything like that. But like, do you ever just take a notion to do something, and until you do it, you're not going to be happy?
Yeah. I mean,
and that was it.
The
only other thing I'll give you another thing that pure dog ignorance will serve you well, Tom. The only other thing that I took a notion to do over lockdown was we did the garden up, and it was all nice and it was all lovely. And it was holiday money, and we weren't going anywhere on holidays, and you got your deposit back, and we said, fuck it, we do the garden. And I needed a fence panel, a 6x6 fence panel.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't go in the back of the car. And the place I was buying it from was charging €35 delivery, Tom, and the panel was 30. And there's no concessions to be made in this. So I says, do you know what I could do? Do you know what I could nearly fucking do? I'll walk home from that place with it.
With a 6x6 panel out on an open road.
It's 2 miles down the road. And I goes, no, you're not going to do that.
Not a windy day now, was it?
And I was lying up awake at night going like, I could fucking do that. And I was like, no, you shouldn't do that. But like once the idea was in me, I was going to do that. Hell no high water, I was going to do it. And I carried that fucking thing 2 mile home on my back on quite a gusty day, Tom.
You must have looked like some lunatic.
I did, yeah. I looked like an absolute spanner, and I carried it sort of like on my head like this, like above me, like a hang glider sort of thing. And again, I figured like if I'm carrying it sideways with one hand down and one hand up, like that's a sail. That's going to blow you about the place. But if you carry it up high, it's probably going to be all right. And I got it home, and I was delighted with myself, and I was very sore. But I was proud of myself. But at the same time, I'm like, what did we lose here, Tom? Definitely the respect of my neighbours.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, I'm probably on shaky ground with these people at the best of times. They probably know that there's some sort of fucking screw loose with me one way or another. But then, like, you know, to see me carrying home a 6x6 fucking fence panel up the ODR, the fucking on-guard distributor road, probably cemented that fact. But here we are.
I love that your average person looking out for their short period of seeing you think that belongs to you and it blew up the road. And you're like,
I never even thought of that.
But every single person goes, oh, fuck, go out and check all our fence panels out there because was it windy last night? Because your man's walking up the fucking... But also, I mean, the glorious point from the sick bastard I am would be for you to get back and realise that was an 8-foot panel.
It's the wrong size, yeah. The wrong size, yeah. I sure look it.
Well, look, modern medicine reckons that people in late 30s and 40s are going to live over 100 anyway, so...
But here's the thing, Tom, and I know, here's one thing I do know now, creeping up past 40. When you go back to, like, we're only 6,000 or 7,000 years removed from the caves.
Yeah.
And we were never supposed to cross 35.
No.
Like, never built for it.
Are we playing gods? Is that what you're saying?
And then all of a sudden, someone said, you know what, let's throw a bit of medicine into these boys and get a couple of more years work out of them. But that's why hair starts falling off you. I know I'm starting to get windy out the back here. Your teeth start falling out. Your teeth start giving you shit. They were never supposed to last you this long. You were supposed to get fucking trampled by a mammoth when you were 27, and people would go to your funeral and go like, he had a good run, didn't he?
He was a nice fella all the same, yeah. Couldn't fucking resist those mammoths.
I will take another mammoth sandwich there, yeah.
Fucking hell, yeah, I never thought about it like that. So we're pushing the envelope. Fuck.
Oh, Tom, wow. We're not pushing the envelope. We're shoulder charging a post box to the ground.
That's an analogy, if ever I heard it. Because even around Ongar, though, there's still, because I remember driving over to your place because you haven't moved far from where you used to be. Too far from where you used to be. Sure, where we used to pick you up before, but because there was countryside. Did you have, especially around now? Are you still find yourself as being the culture in the area, explaining to people what the screeching is at night, that it is actually vixens?
We live quite close to I'll put it like this: we live quite close to a canal, and. Last year there was a rat terrorizing the neighborhood, and there was a rat running around fucking
people up.
One of these big fucking what do you call them? The copies? What do you call the
I know the yolks.
Cabarros. What are the name? Just
it is something like a Cabarro. Yeah.
There was and everyone was saying like I think that rat, I seen it over here, and then some other people the other day would say, yeah, I seen that rat and he was over at the bins over there. And at some stage I had to sort of like say to myself, lads, it's not one rat.
Yeah.
We live beside a canal. These are rats plural.
Yeah.
Because we are in, whether you want to say it or not, we are in the countryside.
Yeah.
So you are going to get, and even where I'm living right now in the green, you will see on occasion rabbits. I've seen a hedgehog here and there. You'll see squirrels. You will see rats. You'll see such like. Because honestly, you throw stones and you're in the countryside. We've got the canal right there, and there's a big development going on at the canal at the minute, which has just chased every rat from the canal into the surrounding hinterland.
Lovely.
Into the hinterland, and yeah. So I hated to break it to the neighbours, but that's not one rat. That's rat plural.
Yeah. We are amongst the rats.
What have you got out your way though?
But sure, look, we've moved down into the shticks here now, like, and it's all you're in their domain. And what I noticed is the vixens here are, I would say, 3 to 4 times louder. They are country fucking just filthy foxes. They're just screeching for the right all fucking night. I'd forgotten. It was like, oh, and also sound travels across,
of course, yes,
across the countryside.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen a fucking hedgehog. You just mentioned hedgehogs because I know you're to the listeners. Gerry McBride will text me at fucking 10 to 11 or 17 minutes past 12 at night with the most random questions because
you're my go-to guy, Tom.
I do get random questions. Like the other day, somebody texted me. He's a comedian. Texted me the other day that if he obviously must have read a manual from like 1902 on how to jumpstart a car.
Right.
He was like, so if I clip the negative onto the body, will that be enough for an earth? I'm going, what are you fucking doing?
Why would you do that? Just clip it onto the negative of the other battery.
That used to be the way it was. There was only ever a positive showing, and also now there's junction points and stuff like that. Turns out you can't actually jump the car he was talking about. You actually have to ring. You actually have to ring the main dealers to send somebody out. God. Yeah, cute cunts. Anyway, but Gerry, one of these nights, now I know how to trap hedgehogs because we used to do it when we were small, all right. And Gerry asked me out of the blue. He goes, "Would you know anywhere where you get a hedgehog?" I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" He's definitely been drinking, or is he taking the piss? Is this a test to see how far he can push Tom? To see, I'll pull a random fucking wild animal out of my hole here and see can he get that? And as it turns out, it wasn't. You actually genuinely wanted a hedgehog at the time.
I did, and Tom, at that stage, you could have told me anything, and I would have taken it as fact.
Oh, I know that.
You know, like,
yeah.
I wasn't going to start disputing you and say, "Oh, that's probably not it." There's no wrong way to answer that.
Why did you want a hedgehog?
And go like, I didn't want a hedgehog. My dad has always wanted hedgehogs in his garden. And they're very good. They're gardeners. They'll eat slugs and things and keep them off lettuces. If so, Dad grows lettuces and fucking tomatoes and cabbages and Christ knows what. And a hedgehog will basically just go around and eat all that and keep all the slugs and things off you. And try as we might, we were never able to entice a hedgehog into the way. So on occasion, I'd say, like, where am I going to get this man a hedgehog? Tom, any hedgehogs?
Well, because did you do a fundraiser or something for hedgehogs?
I did. Right? I eventually got I found a hedgehog rescue centre in Rush in County Dublin, and hey, they're doing the Lord's work. There's rescue centres for everywhere, cats and dogs and all this kind of thing. But this seemed to be the only hedgehog rescue centre in the country that I could lay my hands on. And the lady that worked there supplied me with a couple of hedgehogs, and I brought them up to Dad, and he was delighted about it. And to say thanks to the lady, because it's a charity organisation, I raised her a few £, for her hedgehogs. Like, it's telling you, Tom.
Did the hedgehog stick around?
Fuck all else to be at, so I do.
Yeah, I know. That was one of the thoughts where I was like, Gerry, you fuck all else to be at. Did he stick around?
Did the hedgehog stick around? Don't know. Who knows? They're a very territorial thing, but they're also a very nocturnal creature, Tom. So whether they're there or not, you remain to see. Dad maintains he still sees droppings, and he sees like he sees no slugs, Tom, which would be number one.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing about hedgehogs, Tom, that you may or may not know. All right.
Go on.
Here's what I knew about hedgehogs. I says, the only hedgehog I'd ever seen at this stage was a dead one, God, poor wee bastard to get hit on the road or some such, right?
Yeah.
So, she gave me 5 hedgehogs.
What?
She gave me 5 hedgehogs. Once their job is to rehouse hedgehogs, but they won't just give them to you left, right, and centre because they're not pets; they're wild animals. Okay. So she sussed me out first to make sure that I wasn't acting the bollocks, that I wasn't just getting a hedgehog, as a fucking school football team mascot or some shit, right? And once she knew that, I had to show her satellite photos of the house and everything from Google Maps to show that it wasn't beside a motorway or anything. Yeah. That it wasn't beside a motorway and that it was actually out in the country and blah, blah, blah and all this kind of thing. And once she found that there was a suitable house for a hedgehog, she gave me 5 of them.
In a box?
In a box, yeah.
Into the boot of the car?
Full of straw. There you go. Like a box that you'd get oranges in, the sort of wide boxes.
What do you feed hedgehogs in transit?
Well, this is it. I got them of a Friday night with the intention to go up to see Dad on the Saturday, which means I had to keep these hedgehogs alive for 24 hours. I got them on Friday in the morning.
Fuck, right.
All right, so I had them in my garden shed, and the shit and pissed and did whatever hedgehogs do, and the smell never got out of the place. But here's the thing, Tom. In your knowledge of hedgehogs, would you say hedgehogs are fast or slow?
I just watching them, I would say they're slow.
Incredibly fast animals, Tom. Incredibly fast animals. Like,
fuck off.
Genuinely speedy animals. Like, they're as fast as a rat.
No, they're not.
And they've got acceleration as well, Tom.
What?
Yeah. So like, and that came as a start to me because I was putting them into the shed. And here, Tom, when they tell you a hedgehog's spiky and you should wear gloves, heed that.
Did you know a lot of them are full of fleas?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're hedgehogs. They're wild animals. Like I say, they're not pets. So I was lifting them just with my hands, and that wasn't doing it, like, you know. And I was like kind of rolling my jumper up over my sleeve, like, how spiky could they be? Incredibly fucking spiky. And one of them just like went, and just, like, honest to God, I was like, are you fucking kidding me, right? Would you say hedgehogs are quiet animals or loud animals, in your knowledge?
Fuck, in my knowledge, I'm going to say they utter nothing. They
are incredibly loud, terrifying animals, Tom. Like, they'll go,
no.
Yeah.
What?
That's the night. Like, genuinely freak you out.
Like some shit out of the ring, like, just look at it.
I was just like, I got to keep these animals alive for 24 hours before I get them up to morning. So I was like, I never slept a wink that night. I was going out with little bowls of warm milk and dog food. They eat like dog food. All this kind of thing, and putting them out for them. They didn't seem to be eating anything, and they didn't seem to be moving whatsoever. And I was like, fuck me, is the place too cold or anything like that? But they're nocturnal. They start functioning at like 2 o'clock at night. So I went out, honestly, 3 o'clock at night, I'd stayed up the whole night to go out and watch them. And I went out to see were they eating anything like that. And I counted them 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm like, fuck me, there was a fifth one here.
Stuck to your back. You had a penknife.
Tom, he was stuck to the wall of the shed and had climbed up to eye level. He had climbed up the shiplap of the shed.
Fuck all that.
Like little claws just climbing up. And like I was delighted I went out when I did, because if he'd got to the, you know, the fascia of the shed or the eave of the shed.
Yeah.
Where the roof meets. He would have probably fallen off, and knowing my luck, spiked another one to death.
I was just thinking. So everybody thinks they're fucking adorable because obviously you Wind in the Willows and all that shit where they wear aprons and stuff. And
yeah, that they're little sort of amble along.
Like if they were any bigger, like if they were as big as a badger, they would be going around fucking shit up.
Oh, they'd rule the lands, yeah.
So they move like a bullet. They're covered in
They move like a bullet. They're covered in spikes and fleas. They can climb like sons of bitches, and they're terrifying.
Fucking hell. My opinion has officially changed on fucking hedgehogs. Thanks for that. Everybody listening, I know I promised during most shows that you'll learn next to nothing, but I think we've fucking learned a lot so far. This has been a bit of a fucking overload, but we may as well press on with the fucking educational things, because you had another segment that I say segment, but you were filling your stories on Instagram during the first lockdown with board chores, and
chores.
Yeah, it was post your very first episode you were on, and then the second episode you were on with Marty, talking about Marty Moan, kind of dominated that situation. Because the board chores thing, I mean, I was going, how is McBride finding so much stuff around the house? But you can when you go looking, can't you?
Yeah, there's always work to be done around the house, Tom. And again, I love a project. Yeah. And I'm no good, Tom. I'm no good at work. I've no finesse work about me. Like, I'll measure, if I need to cut something at 20 inches, I'll measure it at 20 inches, mark it at 20 inches, scribe it at 20 inches, cut it at 20 inches, and the fucking thing will be 19 and 3/4.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of way.
That was the funny thing. I made a bunch of fucking things out of pallets. I found a load of pallets during lockdown 1. I just started making them, and I remember Mickey Bartlett, I was chatting when he was going, oh man, just like, it's a fucking work of art, that thing you did there. I went, Gerry, the beautiful thing about pallets is you do not have to be a carpenter of any sort. You just whack that shit together and stand back far enough and take a photograph, because there's a thing called 2020 from 20 feet away at 20 miles an hour, so everything looks fucking beautiful. Like,
exactly. So I take on with a few jobs, and like I did it as board chores on Instagram. Today on board chores, I'm going to be doing this, and then there'll be a couple of little things, and then it became like, you know what? I couldn't give just straight advice about it. It'd have to turn into like a wee comedy sketch or something such. So I started doing these wee comedy sketches, and Tom, I would have loved to keep doing them. I really would. I did 100 of them, and I never missed a day. And then it just got to the point where I was like, I'm no longer bored.
Right? Yeah.
And this was just taking up a bit too much of my time. But I would love to get back to that. And then the killing thing about it was like people would turn to me for advice and they'd be like, "Oh, that's great that you did that. How do I do this?" I'd be like, fuck if I know."
That's exactly what I thought when I saw the first one. I said, McBride has opened a can of fucking worms here.
Absolute can of worms.
Yeah, because people are going to come to him for advice now.
And I'll put it to you like this, Tom. If anybody asks me for advice, I'll tell them what I know.
Right, yeah.
And I'll tell them what I did and whether or not it worked for me.
Yeah.
And after that, you're on your own.
Fair enough. That's a fair enough.
It basically comes down to hit it with this, pull it with that, spray it with this. Is it fixed? No. Well, then I guess it's just not meant to be.
Give us the top 5 things that people probably wouldn't. Because one, in fairness, and I was kind of going, that's a smart one. I remember the old man going on about it before, because people have kind of a throwaway culture, but you were actually servicing the dining room chairs and table.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, Tom, but when we were small, we had the same stuff for bell to bell, 20 years,
forever. Yeah.
And things got fixed, if there was soft furnishings about the house that my mum wanted to change curtains and change sofas and rugs and things like this. But things like the kitchen table, I ate it for 20 straight years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because it was kept right, and the leaves of it, the little hinges that put the leaves of it up and down were sprayed. But it'd drop a WD-40, spray it every now and then, or 3-in-1 oil as it was at the time. The same. Big knife. Have you got a big knife in the house?
Yeah.
The same big knife. If I go up home this evening, which I won't be doing because of lockdown, but if I went up home this evening, that's the same big knife that has been there for 40 years.
Yeah.
And that just gets sharpened on a whetstone every 18 months or whenever it's needed. And there you go. If you buy the right things, you'll have them. You look after them. So we bought dining room chairs and such and honestly, it's only IKEA stuff, Tom. It's not like we're spending big money of it.
Yeah.
But every now and then, with your stuff, you go at it with the anvil, with the Allen keys again. Tighten everything up. Make sure the bottoms of it have the little felt pads so it's not scraping the floor. Tighten the screws. Give it the wub of a wag.
The wub of a wag.
There you go. The wub of a wag.
There you go. That's a perfect example.
You know this yourself, Tom.
Yeah,
if you have a cheese board or a worktop surface or something like that, a wee bit of oil. There you go.
So, what are the top? Give us a handful of top things people should have in their toolbox.
Toolbox.
Everybody should have a toolbox.
Right.
As I'm talking to you here, and we were only talking before the show even started, WD-40. People should nearly be wearing WD-40.
Yeah, and look at Tom. There's jobs you take on with and jobs you don't. You never ever mess with gas. Don't mess with gas. You will kill yourself.
Yeah.
And I personally don't mess with electricity.
I've 2 of the exact same. Yeah.
Just don't do it. That's Edison's medicine. Don't fucking go near it, right? So you don't really have to worry about anything like that. So we're not going to be stripping down gas boilers, and we're not going to be putting up things. I'll wire a plug, but that's about it. So think about what else you're going to be doing in the house, Tom. 9 times out of 10, you'll be putting shelves up, or you'll be doing something like that. Mm-hmm. So you need something that makes a hole, Tom.
Yeah.
So you're gonna need a drill.
Yeah.
You can buy. Yourself, Tom. You can buy Hilti hammer action fucking drills for €600, and you don't need that about your house. You need a wee drill will go an awful long way. And not only can you make holes, you can also if you have a drill, you can make holes in your walls. Get a hammer drill. €35 to €40 Black & Decker job if you're so weird. If you're feeling like spending money, get yourself a good Hitachi or some such. If you feel like you can spend €200-300 very, very easy. But think about what you're going to be doing, Tom. You're not going into business. You're making at best 15 holes in your whole life.
Yeah. Because lads will go mad on the DeWalt gear and so all the rest of it. I see a fella. I was chatting with him there one day on Zoom, and I know the guy's like a computer tech nerd. And he had 2 or 3 Festool. Have you ever come across Festool?
Yeah, the name rings a bell.
It's the craziest, most expensive gear out there. Like hyper nerd carpenters, real ridiculous joiners will have this gear. £700 for a drill. And I'm kind of going, what are you doing? And it looks brand new. He goes, I just got it for some gear. I'm like, you have too much money if you're buying Festool. Not needed at all.
Not needed. Get yourself a drill, and look, if you want to get cordless and be fancy about it, fucking do. But like a little drill with a cable on it, you can plug it into an extension cord and drill all you want. Honestly, think about what you're going to be doing about your house. You're going to be honestly drilling maybe 50 holes in your whole goddamn life.
Yeah.
Although, here's one thing. Do take a look at your drill to see does it have a forward and back, because it doesn't always do, because you think to yourself, oh, it'll always have a forward and back. It may not. It possibly will not, okay? Because a drill is not a screwdriver, Tom. That's one thing I learned.
Yeah.
You think you're just going to put a screwdriver bit in it and I can drill screws and put them in and out? That's not what a drill is for. You can get yourself a wee electric screwdriver for that job. Or do you know what you can get, Tom? A fucking set of screwdrivers for a tenner.
Yeah. For the most part, most things like
everything you ever want to do. So you get yourself a drill and get yourself a screwdriver, and you can pretty much do whatever you want. You want to get yourself a wood saw to make a piece of wood that doesn't fit.
Yeah.
And what also will help with that, Tom, is a hammer.
Course. Yeah. Claw hammer, ball pin.
Claw hammer, if you make a mistake, you pull it back out. And after that, Tom, if you have a claw hammer, a saw, set of screwdrivers, a drill of some description.
Yeah.
Silicone gun is probably no harm either.
Small level too wouldn't hurt, I suppose.
Wee level, so don't. I see guys like checking levels using their phone, and I'm like,
I've seen it. I have an app. Away. You're like, no, you don't.
No, you don't. You've got nothing. You got nothing.
You got nothing, kid.
You got nothing. So honestly, Tom, after that, don't throw away the Allen keys that come with your IKEA furniture. Keep them, and you're set. Yeah. A pair of vice grips, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, even still, like vice grips is only really supposed to be for cold and clamping two yokes together. I know they call it the farmer's toolbox.
Farmer's toolbox. You know what you can do with a pair of vice grips, Tom? Fucking everything.
It's
true. You want to put stabilizers on a child's bike? Vice grips will see you right there.
Yeah, you're right enough. We should have our own Netflix show, shouldn't we? Just based around the vice grips.
What I've described to you there, Tom, is at best, and you don't have to buy it all at once. It's at best maybe 80 to 100 euros worth of stuff. Maybe not even. Maybe not even. And it's 100 euros with a toolbox to put it all in, and put it up in the attic, and hopefully you'll never come looking for it.
Mind it. That's all. Just mind it. Especially the saw. Don't let any cunt start cutting bits of plastic with it. Don't. Always put the sheet back on and mind the saw.
I'll tell you one thing I don't mind, Tom, is I don't mind as in, it's not like I don't mind like, hey, I don't mind that. I mean, I don't mind, I don't look after it. And I'm always going looking for new ones, is paint rollers and things like this.
Yeah.
Because it's a pain in the hole to clean them and so on and so forth. So I just go up and buy cheap ones anytime I need them and throw them out. And it's a terrible way. Greta Thunberg would be caution me.
I'm in the exact same boat. But I don't have a lot of pride when it comes to painting.
Neither do I. And I never want to see it again.
No, I would knock a fucking wall with far more pride with a sledge than no. There's a handful of jobs that I wouldn't touch, i.e. electricity, gas, and even fucking tasty plumbing, because I've seen what tasty plumbing looks like. And there's something beautiful about tasty fucking plumbing.
Do you know what, Tom? If you fuck up a shelf, what's going to happen? It's just not going to be level. Yeah. Oh no, the dust will roll off it. But if you fuck up the plumbing of a toilet, you'll know about it someday at 4 o'clock in the morning when the water starts dripping through onto your head. So I do leave that to everybody. There's buys for that jobs. Anything else I'll take on with it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And you're making mistakes on the go. Like, I know how to paint now, Tom. And that's from a year of painting badly. Where paint just literally, you're there like 2 weeks later going, why is that paint not cured? Why is that paint still sticky to the touch? And it's like, well, you know where it said leave 4 hours between coats? It fucking meant it.
Yeah. That and like cutting in fucking at the top.
And cutting in and all this kind of thing. It's a pain in the hole.
Oh no, I to be honest with you, I'd still have no problem in hiring a bloke for that. No problem. Come on in. Do a fucking good job. Do you know what I mean? Get at it. Stop fucking around with it. Because I just hate it with all my fucking...
I fucking hate painting. I take no joy from it, Tom. It's like the running. So many people...
Yeah, ignorance, I suppose, is a big thing.
Pure ignorance. Get this job done.
So many people will give it a go. But because I wanted it... we didn't really... We're going to lead briefly, or quickly we'll be leading into the big promo piece as to why we're here. Why we're here and all the rest. I started to kind of read up on, because we lent into a bit of a conversation the other night about Irish superstitions and the vixen thing.
The vixens, yes, sorry.
The vixen thing was a big thing that people, that's where the banshee apparently, the basis of the banshee. Yeah, but you ask, there was a guy out at the gate just now and he he would digger. He was working in kind of cleaning out a bit of a dike, and I just went up to him and was chatting away. How you keeping? Great, and all the rest of it. It started. I said, the foxes around here, man. And he goes, yeah. But it was him who said it to me. He goes, he said, that would have been mistaken for. But you ask a lot of people around here, and they will have a story about the banshee.
Oh yeah,
You're like, well, who is this woman, and how does she get around the place so fucking much?
Yeah, but, and why is there always a recently rid fox very close to the scene,
or soon to be ridden fox?
Soon to be rid fox close to the scene.
Do you ever come across like, I don't know what the name was. I was told the name and I can't remember. It's like a bundle of sticks tied together with a ribbon. That was a real nasty move. If you put that, if somebody found that in their field, it was some Irish word, like, I'm going to say pusheen, but that's kitten.
Well, is it pestrog?
It could be. It could
be. Someone will correct me, I'm sure, but we would, up our way, we'd say pestrogs were superstitions.
Pishogs.
That could be a pistrog.
Yes.
But like walking under a ladder, don't walk under a ladder is a pistrog. Pistrog. That's only. I'm not going to walk under the ladder. I fucking walk under the ladder. That's only an L pistrog.
Yes.
So superstition, but it's probably derived from this
bundle of sticks. That's what it is, because that's what it's called. I was trying to think of the Irish name, because that's what it's called.
That's some Blair Witch shit right there. But that's someone hexing you, is it?
It is. It's somebody hexing you.
Bad bastards.
And apparently, if you find a pishog inside in a field, you'll struggle to get back out of said field, because it'd normally be in a part of the field that...
I have heard that you're taking me way back here now to when I was wee, all right.
Yeah, I knew I'd be rooting around your brain for this one, yeah.
It's back there somewhere, all right, that there was someone that got the bundle of sticks and then couldn't find the way out of the field. The one that we were always told was you'll get thorns in your bed.
Yeah.
And you'll never... You wake up and you sweep the thorns out of your bed, and then you go back to bed, and then... Hey, more thorns! It's
like, I gotta open a thorn business. That's what I need right here.
What the fuck is this? It's like all the thorns you could ever want. Anywhere if you vex the wee folk or the fairies or what have you, you're going to get thorns in your bed. Now, Tom, come here. We're grown ass men. I know this is all fucking nonsense. Well, at the same time, I would not go near a lone bush in a field.
No way. Not a hope. And I'm telling you now, I spoke to a guy who ripped one out of a site that he was on, and he hired a digger on self-drive because no digger man would go near the fucking thing. Lo and behold, not half an hour later, he, in the most random spot he could have been, he moved his digger to, in the middle of a 12-acre field, he hit the internet cable / telecoms cable, and because it was old, he had to replace it all. He had to replace, I don't know, something like, was it 700 meters of it? Because they weren't going to come out and be able to replace it. They went, that's old as shit, that should have been left there. And of course there was no ducting, no nothing, in fairness. But he was kind of going, no, it's just coincidence. And you're kind of going, yeah, okay, it's coincidence, but at the same fucking time, dude.
I'm gonna tell you a story, Tom. Names changed to protect the innocent and all that kind of thing. It's nothing to do with pistrogues or fairies or anything like that. It's just a funny story. I like to tell it whenever I can. I used to work in this shop. It was a builder's provider.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that one day there was a bit of building going on up the road from the builder's provider, don't you know? And there was a guy out there with a digger. We knew him from coming into the shop, but he was digging. He was digging. There you go, digging foundations or whatever the fuck he was digging. But he was digging, right? So we knew he was there. That was all that. And he came in to me at the end of the day, and he says, "Come here. I need 2 gas connectors and about a yard of pipe." Which is that's common. That's common for, like, I've hit a thing, right?
Yeah.
Can I have 2 water connectors on a yard of pipe, or can I have 2 sewer connectors on a yard of sewer pipe? Because I'm after busting something and I need to put cut out the bit that I'm after breaking, put 2 connectors either side of it, and the yard of pipe by the end of it. I says, okay, well, what size of pipe is it? Because, like, a gas pipe going into your house is the orange pipe. You've often seen it going to your the tank outside. It's an orange rubber hose. Maybe you got a belt of it when you're a wee, if you're stepping out of lane. It's an orangey flexy. Looks like a garden hose, although it's thick. And I said, well, is it so the orange hose going into like a gas cooker? He goes, no. It's like the gas going to a house. I was right. Okay, so sometimes if you were if you had like the the two bottles of gas outside the house, the two big red bottles of gas.
Yeah.
They were connected with a thing that was called oil line. It did for oil and gas. It was a copper pipe about 10 mil thick, about the size of a pencil thick, coated in white plastic.
Yeah.
That's oil line, okay? I'm sure you might have seen it through time. Okay?
We have it here.
And I said, well, it's oil line, it's 10 mil, so it's like a copper pipe. He goes, well, I don't know if it's copper, it looks plasticky. And I goes, okay, yeah, it's a copper pipe, but it's got the white plastic over it. And I showed him it, and he goes, no, that's not it, it's bigger than it. I goes, well, that's a 10 mil oil line, that's in every house in the country. There's a 15 mil version of it that, you know, if you were going a long distance, you'd use a 15 mil version of it. And there's a 22 mil version of it, but like, we keep a roll of it there, and it's been unopened for 5 years. Nobody's ever come looking for it, you know.
Yeah.
We got in 2 rolls for a factory, and they only took one and left the other one back, and we just left it there in case anyone ever wanted. So is it either of them? He goes, no, it's bigger than that.
Here. Did he hit the fucking stuff out in the road?
And I says, roughly speaking, how big is the pipe? Because I'm showing you pipe here for 10 minutes and we haven't hit the right one yet. How big is the pipe you hit? He goes, well, I'd say you'd get your fist down into it.
Here. He hit the fucking mains. Oh, man. And he stood there for 10 minutes, you showing him other bits of fucking pipe.
And it was just when he said that, Tom, that I noticed the hint of gas in the air that was coming.
Yeah, it piped straight from the sea.
It was the fucking Shell to Sea mains gas pipeline that he had put the bucket of the digger down through, and we went out and looked at it, and sure, like, it was pissing gas and putting dirt and stones 20 feet up into the air.
Do not smoke fags within the greater fucking area.
And then the like when we say, like, you know, it had to be fixed, we were sent home early. The whole place was evacuated, and fucking lads landed with like the ET spacesuits on and all this kind of shit to fin it up. But I always thought it was funny. 2 things about that story. I couldn't pick which was the funniest of it. Number one, that in order to bust that pipe, he had to go down through maybe 5 or 6 layers of warning tape.
Oh, yeah, and then to be gravel on top of that, maybe a foot of gravel on top of that as well.
And you were given every opportunity to not hit this pipe.
Oh, that was a tick.
So that could have been the funny thing. The other funniest thing about that story is that he thought he was going to buy a yard of pipe and 2 connectors and fix it and fuck off.
Oh, my. This is the thing, like. And you think them fellas aren't out there?
Just like, I'm gonna go get a yard. Because so with your boy cutting off the internet to the place, you rest assured if he could have got 2 fiber optic broadband connectors and a couple of Allen keys and hammer a job in it, he fucking would have done.
Well, to be fair, that's your man. To give it to his credit, it was in a blank field, and there wasn't any grit. There was no warning tape. There was no ducting. There was no nothing. It was just.
Then he could just turn around and say the what's the word I'm looking for? The responsibility was not his. Someone didn't do their job right, because all them things should have warned.
Oh, you didn't meet the kind of neighbours I used to live with, Gerry. that doesn't wash. That doesn't wash. But the real fucking reason, not just I love hanging out and talking to Gerry McBride, and of course, no better place to do it than on Buckshot. But the real reason you're here is we got it back together, Gerry. We did it.
Hit him, Tom.
We did it. We did it. As you will listen to this, the general public will listen to this. You'll hear this on the 19th of February.
Yes, indeed.
Mark this forever in your book. On the 19th of February, you will hear this podcast will be released as to general release. And I'm going to just clarify that coming Monday, which is what am I looking at today? Is the 22nd. 100%. It is the 22nd. Monday the 22nd at 9 a.m. Season 4. Only 4.5 years in the making, Gerry. Season 4 of the Tom and Gerry Show is back. It will be dropping into your ear holes.
We
finally got it around. I've been promising people for a long time. Do you know how many fucking months and years people have been asking for when the Tom and Gerry Show is coming back? And I was like, no, it's happening. It's happening. He goes, did you and McBride fall out? We go, actually, no. We talk more than usual.
Yeah.
We can actually just record our conversations about Hedgehogs.
And leave it at that.
But
and Tom, while we're here, I want to take full responsibility for the Tom and Jerry Show.
Oh, and while we're here, I'm taking.
And while we're here, you're going to fucking blame me.
I'm giving it.
The last episode, just to give you an idea of how long we've been off the air. The last episode, Barack Obama was still president. That is the truth. That is the truth.
That is the truth.
And I do believe Trump was inaugurated like the following. We finished up at the Christmas of that year, and Trump was inaugurated of the January, and then he did a whole term, which I didn't hear much about. Did anything happen?
Not a lot, to be honest.
Neither here nor there, wasn't it?
No.
And we went through it. The January, that January and / February, I moved into a new house. We bought a house and moved into it, and we had a second baby. And Jimmy quit. Jody got married. You know.
Perfect. Yeah, that's just what happens.
But there you go. That's what happens. And Tom
is still standing there with his first real six string on the side of the road, going, "Where the fuck is he gone? Where the fuck is he gone?"
And honestly, I always had the heebie-jeebies that we could, like, because we recorded it together, the first 3 seasons of the Tom and Jerry show, and I had fucking great crack recording that, Tom. Forget about it. It's not that people are, but you fell out or you said creative differences. Like, we're not fucking the Beatles. Like,
we're not that precious, that's for sure.
We just had a great crack and it was all that. But I just couldn't get you as handy because I was busy with one thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do it on the internet because I was worried that the audio quality wouldn't hold up and there wouldn't be the same.
Well, when you were worried about it, you're right to have been worried about it, because back then, even a year ago, the quality wasn't there. And
because I never had a Skype call that didn't shit the bed.
Yeah. Oh, they were dirt up until now. Like, and literally in the last maybe 3 or 4 months, we couldn't be talking at the same time. No. We just shut one guy off, and it was shit in the bed and everything. So it really has pulled up its socks. And
I'll tell you that Zoom, those Zoom guys, where were they, Tom?
They apparently every one of them at Christmas all got a bonus of a Maserati or something, because there was only like about 6 of them working in Amsterdam in this small little office. And
honestly, when because I always hated Skype, and I always had like 6 Skype accounts that I kept losing the password of, and I was like, fuck, I have to start a new one, Gerry McBride _27, because I'm after losing that many of them. And then when the pandemic hit, we had a work meeting, and someone goes, okay, well listen, here's a link, it's Zoom, and I was like, oh, fuck off.
It's like TikTok or something.
What is this? It's another thing that I have to learn how to use, and I'm never going to be able to. And I was like, no, listen up, McBride, you slow-witted dipshit. It's real simple. I'm going to send you a link. You click on it, and all of a sudden we're having a seamless video conversation from the fucking future.
Yeah.
Right here and now. And lo and behold, it is. And I got to tell you, Tom, I don't know why I was worried all those years that the audio quality...
you were like I said, you were right. You were right.
Measure up.
I know. Yeah.
When you go back and listen to the first 3 seasons, and it's a fucking handheld recorder sitting in the ashtray of a Citroen C4 as we drive around town with the windscreen wipers on.
I know. This is.
Why was I so precious of the audio quality?
I know. But you were just looking for any excuse not to fucking do it. That's all that was. But you're dead right.
I was precious about my art. But we're back, Tom. We've got a load of episodes in the can. I'm having an absolute blast recording it.
It is
great crack.
It feels so fucking good to be back, and therapeutic, if not nothing else. You just like all the previous seasons. If you haven't listened to it, go back. There's like 18 or 19 fucking episodes.
No time.
There's 18 plus a Christmas special. Well, Jerry gets mildly drunk, and we comment on Die Hard, I believe, the whole way through.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to them. They're all good crack. I mean, it's like to me, it's like people that have said that they've never watched The Office.
Yeah.
I'm like, why haven't you watched The Office? It's 12 episodes, half an hour a piece.
Yeah.
Take you a long afternoon. You might not like it, but like at least you have an opinion. Faulty Towers, only ever 12 episodes made.
You can't
you can't say I don't have time for that, you know?
This is it. So like that, we are back, and we have a fucking brand new season for you, and it is juicier than ever. Our audio is fucking unbelievably better.
The whole thing is just,
the whole experience is just all around better.
And if you think we took 4 years to perfect the format or really drill down into what the people wanted, nope.
We just went a little longer, to be honest with you. We just gone a little longer than usual.
We just talked a bit more, yeah.
That's all. So
it's the same crack. If you like the previous episodes, you're really going to like these new ones. If you didn't like the previous episodes, listen to it. You might like these ones. I don't know what to tell you.
What?
Tell me what you didn't like
Jerry's
about the last
one of the best salesmen I know, honestly. So if you can't buy what he's selling right now,
what do you want from us here?
So the best place for everybody to follow, because Gerry will be in control, and this year we will be more interactive through Twitter.
Absolutely.
We're not bothering with Instagram or any of that bullshit. We're just going to go through Twitter. The link is there to get in, find whatever you follow your podcast on, whether it's Acast, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. It's all there. Find it, subscribe to it. Monday morning to be a juicy steak of episode 1 will be in your ear holes. As far as anything else goes, yeah, we will be throughout after each episode is released, we will be actually putting up media talking about the episode and all the rest of it. So we'll get interaction. So feel free. You won't just be following us just to find out when it's on. You'll actually have a bit of crack throughout the week prior to the next one coming out. And like I said, Gerry's the wizard when it comes to Twitter, so I'm leaving that all in his fucking hands.
I'll do my absolute level best.
It won't be hard to find. We are not the cat
don't
and
worry,
mouse.
we'll fucking tell you.
Yeah, we are not the... Yeah, I mean, we will be shouting it from the fucking rooftops, but this was a perfect intro for the whole thing. So, that is...
There you go.
Episode 174, possibly 5. I'm not sure.
It said 175 on the meeting invite here, Tom.
Did it? Did it?
Yeah.
Well, we'll go with that then. As people will get this, look down in the show notes underneath. You will see where to follow Gerry McBride and the best place, his hilarious fucking presence on Twitter. As well as that, you'll find the pod link, which shows you every place you can find the podcast, depending on whatever podcast forum you listen to. Gerry, unfortunately, people, I'm sorry you learned stuff this evening, which is a promise I make in most shows, but you learned about hedgehogs, you learned about tools, and you learned about minding your ditties. Gerry, delightful as always.
Take care, Tom. Everybody, see us over on the Tom and Gerry podcast. And Tom, thank you again, and continued success with Buckshot. I'm forever envious of how you've managed to keep this going. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a credit to you.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. McBride, for dropping in. Like he said, get following the Tom and Gerry Show. Gerry with a G. I'll put the pod link down in the show notes so you can find whatever platform you're on and give it a follow, because this Monday the 22nd, it is dropping into your eardrums. Yeah. Now, if you're a Patreon, you will get it, of course, earlier, and it will be up on the Patreon page for you all to just savour your lips. I think we went long. I think we went over an hour and a half on the first one, so you'll have plenty to keep you occupied with. You'll get the ad-free version over there. You know the crack. And if you are listening to the Tom and Gerry Show, or this show, on Apple Podcasts, give it a 5-star review. It'll direct more people to us. That's the only reason for us, not for our ego, really. And we are definitely going to give away another prize for the best review of the Tom and Gerry Show. What else can you do? What else can you do for people? So that is the crack, everybody. Thank you all very much for listening. You've been a delight as always. I mean, I say that assuming that you're actually listening to it in enjoyment and you're applauding at every funny fucking moment. We learned some things from McBride this evening. Hedgehogs are scary little bastards. Your tits could fall off from running, and you always need a vice grips. Now, with that, enjoy the rest of the weekend. Mind yourselves. Good luck. Good thanks. God bless. And I'll see you on Monday.